Welcome back to my pricing therapy couch today. And today's topic, we're going to talk about customers' willingness to pay. This can go a few different directions depending on what either product, food, service, professional service that you provide. But there's a threshold where customers are willing to pay, right? That boils down to either, you can either be first to the market, last to the market. It doesn't really matter. We'll get to that strategy in a little bit. But willingness to pay has to do with knowing your competition, right? There are people out there probably doing what you're doing. Are they doing it different than you? Are they doing some things better than you? Are there some things that you just aren't going to do, right? So knowing a customer's willingness to pay is about knowing your audience and their value, like we talked about last time on the couch. And then this time it's about knowing what they're willing to pay, right? So if you know your competition, you know they're offering, you kind of have to understand where you fit into the mix with your competition. Are you going to be the elite of the elite? Are you going to be kind of that low cost leader? Or do you fall somewhere in the middle, right? If you want to scale a company, it's important to know kind of what end of the spectrum you're on because your price point will then drive how quickly you're going to scale, right? If you're the low cost leader, that's fine. You can probably have a really great product at a low cost, but then you're going to have to be better, like really good at it or have a great product or service because you're going to have to sell a lot of it to make that volume to get down to that gross profit at the end of the day. But if you're on the elite of the elite side, you're making a lot of money from fewer customers, but you really do have to surprise and delight them every time. Because if you lose a few of those, then you can take a step backward pretty quickly. So, understanding your competition, understanding which side of the niche you're on, low cost leader, really elite and exclusive, or somewhere in the middle, those are going to be really pivotal to understanding your customer's willingness to pay. So, let's dive in on both sides of the equation. So, let's start if you're on the elite, very high end of the equation of your competition, right? Whatever product or service you have, you want to be the creme de la creme. You want to have the highest price points and you want that kind of elite audience, right? Okay, great. First of all, how big is the market, right? If you're having financial goals that you need to hit, make sure you know the market is big enough, even if you get those high paying clients, right? We'll start there. Then the next piece is really helping articulate why your product is worth more. You have to make it easy for your audience, for your customer to articulate why it's worth that high price, right? Maybe it boils down to brand. You get brand loyal people, right? Like there's a lot of brands out there that have very loyal followings. Or maybe you truly do have the best people. You get the best headliners, or you have the best quality, the highest functioning product, the highest quality, the best tasting, the most unique, right? Something that nobody else can get, at least out at the beginning. So if you're really in that high end, you have to make it easy for people to talk about the value. If someone comes to me and says, "Hey, why are you part of this community or that community and what value are you getting from it?" You have to really be able to very easily articulate it to justify it to either yourself or to your company, but you also have to make it easy to articulate. If you can't rattle off why it adds value to your life or why that product you can't live without, you're probably not going to build the following because a lot of the high niche type of product and content and communities are based on word of mouth. And so I do think that you have to make sure to really understand your audience and know that it's easy to articulate the value. If you can do that, you probably have a winning combination. You'll make a lot of money and hopefully you can scale the company as quickly as you want. So good luck if you're on the high end side. Now, let's say you are the low price leader in your marketplace, again, for either your product or your service. So if you're the lower price, you have to have good quality, you have to have reliability, and you better have a damn efficient process for how you either make the product or how your customer service relates to something or how you scale and grow the company. Because when you're the low cost side of things, you're going to have volume to make up the dollars needed that the high end kind of market doesn't need as much of. So you're going to have to have a really good product, you're going to have to be really high quality, and you're going to have a lot of eyes on you, right? If you're going to try to scale to the masses and sell it to a lot of people, people have very strong opinions on products. And sometimes they'll say, yes, it's worth the low cost. Sometimes they won't. But you are going to have very loud voices and you're going to have a lot of them. So you're going to have good customer service department so that if something goes wrong, you fix their experience very quickly. Right? Even though they didn't pay a lot, you still have a lot of people that are going to talk about how crappy your offering or product or value is. And that's not going to look very good for your business. So if you have the low cost, you better have a good product, you better be able to scale it efficiently, and you're going to have really good customer service to help so many people's opinions be rectified. There's some irrational people out there that are willing to say, for that $1.99, I expected XYZ, whether it's realistic or not. And there's a lot of books out there about was it the unrealistic hospitality? I think it was one of the names of the books. I'll have to quote it in this, but it's like some customers just aren't realistic. And so they are going to have a loud voice on what their expectations are for your product, the more of a large audience you have that's buying your product. So make sure you have a good process, make sure you have high quality. That'll cut down on your returns, hopefully your customer service costs, and then you can scale your company with a lot of volume, low cost leader, and hopefully that maybe some of that money that you make, you can reinvest into some of these other things. But at the end of the day, as long as you have a good product, it's going to sell itself. So, low cost leader is definitely one pricing model. You just have to have very different ends of the spectrum. So, if you're the low cost leader, good luck. You're going to have really good customer service and value throughout the process and a good product to back it up. So, fingers crossed for you. I hope that it sells well. Good luck.